Yeah, I guess my question for Anders is this: does your I haven't heard you yet, so I don't know, but I'm just wondering if your style is like, are you trying to imitate American groups, or do you have a unique style that's unique to your Lithuanian culture, or you trying to get away from that, or what's how are you coming at this?
No, I was a teenager in the 80s. So all like early 80s music is probably my always be my guiding light, you know. It's just that kind of like new wave,
So
post-punk,
American pop culture is what
electro
you're talking about?
electro pop. Probably more based on European, on British, German music, popular music, I mean. And because no, back in the day, when we were when I was a kid in Soviet Union, everything behind the Iron Curtain was, I don't know, West. We
Yeah.
didn't we in the beginning we didn't really make we didn't distinguish, you know, British music, American music, German, French, well, maybe Italian because they sung in different language. So it's just it was all Western music, you know. But now I see that I probably most listens to British and German performers, and
Well,
Were you able to
let's
listen
play a
to?
song. We're overdue. Let's play a song. We can talk about it. All right, this is a concert he did in Chicago. I'm choosing this one because it's the probably the best audio of his concerts, and I really like this song because I think it's the most his more American style rather than Brit or German. Hey, all right, you guys all hear it? All right, hold on. It's gonna go
No.
into the music in just a
Yeah,
second.
turn it up a little.
Tokia mano politika šių metų nusimatęs jo.
Žodžiai neturi prasmės, jei tu jos tari tik šiaip sau. Niekada nieks tavęs nesupras, jei bijos ištart tai, ką nori. Ar tai vienintelis kelias, ar juo verta eit, ar vardan to mes gyvenam? Hei, 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 mums reikia pakeisti šį pasaulį, jau laikas seniai, todėl kad tiesa yra apgaulė, blogiausi draugai. Darbas, kurį tu turi.
I really liked it. I'm an '80s guy as well, and I have no idea what the lyrics were about, but I was definitely getting into it. I could emotionally connected to it.
the song is called "Hey Hey Hey Hey."
You know, I caught those
That's
lyrics.
the one part I
got that.
understood.
That's the main message, you know.
When I was first listening, I thought, is he
It's
singing in
universal.
Spanish? And then he starts. You said some things that sounded more like Russian, and so I know it wasn't either one. But anyway,
Lithuanian.
yeah, I
Yeah,
know. I know it's
well, we have
Lithuanian.
this. Yeah, we have this very unique language that is one of the few still living and oldest languages in the world. Is for about like 4,000 years old, Lithuanian language. So it's very old. It's
It has
usually
origins in
people.
Sanskrit, doesn't it?
Yeah, usually people who study Sanskrit, they come to Lithuania and they study Lithuanian because it's very, very similar.
So what is the message? I mean, it sounded almost every chord was a minor chord with a six on it, and so it was kind of spooky sounding overall. So what was
I
the
The
story?
lyrics are, you have of work and you want to, burn it down. You do something things, but you don't like them. You do something that you don't like, and then there's a main question: is this the only way you want to live? Maybe there's something else you want to try. Just probably songs like that.
Nice. It's like most people who work in a position they don't like.
Yeah, you like for
You
people
have
who
to do it,
chose.
but do you
Yeah,
really
you
want to
like, or they never thought that you should do something that makes you happy.
Exactly.
Andres, I have a question. Were you able to, did you listen to Radio Free Europe, or was that banned where you were?
It was banned, and we had this Russian had these special machines that would play white noise into the air, and that would block all the radio stations that could come from Western Europe. So, but there was sometimes there was like, it's called like a radio reflection, that the radio signal reflects from, I don't know, from clouds or from atmosphere, for certain part of atmosphere, and it kind of passed through. So we were able to listen sometimes to the Radio Luxembourg or some BBC, maybe at night, maybe late at night. Some Polish radio. I know they play more like Western music, even if they were a socialist state, but they had this maybe more freedom at the radio. So we got this. We knew all the popular stuff, even if we were behind the curtain, because there were people who were going abroad, still traveling, like my father. He was a scientist. He would once or twice a year he would go to Germany, to meet his colleagues, and I would make him a list of the records that he should bring me, from Germany, and all the people would do that. And I remember every day going to school, I would carry a few vinyl records with me, and we would exchange them with my friends. And then I'm back home, and I'm recording it on reel-to-reel tape or on cassette, and making my own, compilations. So we and also every Sunday there's this forest. Actually, I lived not so far from that place. There's this park and this little forest where on Sunday you would find 100 people with the bags full of vinyl LPs, and you could find anything there. Like you could there was like a black market for music or something. Then you could exchange LPs. You can sell. You can buy them. And if you can't find something that you want to find, there will be this guy that would write it down, and he would say, like, come here next week. I'll get this record for you, and
Right.
and you would get it. So that was a very different way how we got how we found the music that we like.
Yeah, it's much different than how we did it in America. Making mixtapes is much different process.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
I can imagine
bootlegging
that.
here took on a different form. It'd be like, hooking up to your radio and then to your recorder. You'd be going into the woods and bootlegging that.
Well,
There's always
maybe,
a workaround.
What's that,
maybe you
Andres?
can still experience that with all the censorship with all the censorship
Yeah,
that we're
right.
talking about.
Sadly
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
You will
All
have
right.
to do a special secret gatherings, in the mountains, and exchange vinyl records or
Yes.
USB sticks,
Yeah, we always had to do that with ours because no one on the radio wanted to play it. Hey, I got a question for you. Or a lot of guys, you don't know this, you can't look it up, but it's something about Andrius that you don't know, and probably Andrius doesn't know it about himself. But he takes every opportunity. Somebody says, "Hey, let's do this." He'll give it a try. Like, he's here. He always shows up, no matter what it is. But he does something else that's different, which I think makes a professional. And you never know what he's gonna do. For instance, like I'd be at my flat in Lithuania, and he'd show up, and I'm like, "Oh, what are you doing today?" He's like, "Oh, I'm going to film a video." I'm like, "Oh, cool." He's like, "You want to go?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'll go." And he's like, "No, do you want to be in it?" And I'm like, "No, I'm not in your band. I'm not in your album." He's like, "No, that doesn't matter. Sure, let me go ahead and shower up and shave." He's like, No, it's not that kind of video." I'm like, "What is it?" He says, "Better look." So I'm going to show you that video.
So you were in a video with him?
Yeah, just one.
Nice.
Nice.
Cool. Uh-huh.
This is me waking up in the morning before coffee.
We can
No.
see young Jeff.
But it's also it's a good song actually. I like it.
Aš toks vienišas jaunas jūreivis, mindau svetimo uosto gatves, ieškau knaipės, kur gaučiau išgerti, nes niekad nieks nemylėjo manęs, nes niekad nieks nemylėjo manęs. Aš rūkau tik tai stiprią taboką, nesvarbu man prie ko tai prives, mano laimė man sukelia juoką, nes niekad nieks nemylėjo manęs, nes niekad nieks nemylėjo manęs. Štai tos
Here's my
durys,
cameo.
kur dainuoja ir daužo taures, aš taip pat su visais jas daužysiu, nes niekad nieks nemylėjo manęs, nes niekad nieks nemylėjo manęs. Įeinu tas duris atidaręs ir nužvelgęs visas merginas, atsisėdu į kampą prie stalo, nes niekad nieks nemylėjo manęs, nes niekad nieks nemylėjo manęs. Kai viena tų merginų prieina, pajuntu jos aistringas rankas, dar įsipilu vyno į taurę, nes niekad nieks nemylėjo manęs, nes niekad nieks
All right.
Wonderful.
Does that translate to Sailor's song, Andrius, or what is
Yeah,
that?
that's a sail. That's a story about a sailor, about a young, lonely sailor who who walks the streets of unknown city because nobody ever loved him. Then he goes to the bar and he drinks himself to death because nobody ever loved him. And he met this girl that asked him to go with her, and he gives her money in advance, and he goes with her because nobody ever loved him. And in the morning, he just sadly looking at the sails of his ship, and he goes back to the ship because nobody ever loved him.
Yes, that line's
Wow.
repeated throughout the
That's so
song.
sad.
Yeah.
So
But now, Andreas, I hate to say this, but
Andrius, yeah.
Andrus, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I hate to say this, but that is what I would have expected if you said you're going to hear from a Lithuanian band. That was closer to what I might have thought of as being
It's
stereotypical. But I
I
thought
can
it was
understand.
beautiful. I enjoyed that a lot.
It is like it's a bit ironical. Music is I use it as an irony because it sounds a bit like a Russian music.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And usually when I'll travel a lot. I've been, from Chile to North Korea. I've been like 60 something countries, but usually the question that I get when I say I'm from Lithuania, usually people say one of the first questions they would ask, do you speak Russian there? And I say, no, our language has nothing to do with Russian. I mean, just different group of languages. And then they say, how are you close to Moscow? And this is strange cliche that is still, I think, it comes from the Cold War.
Yeah.
Because for Western people, Soviet Union seemed like that's like a one country, it's just one country. But most of them never realized that there's like many different countries that were occupied, and each of them has their own culture, their own language, their own, colors and stuff like that. So it's kind of, yeah, it's.
Well, an example would be Sweden and Finland are right next to each other, but they're completely different.
Yeah, sure.
Culturally and linguistically and everything.
Yeah, and it's like Baltic countries. It's like Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania.
Mm-hmm.
They usually, from a side, you see them. They are quite similar, but still they're very different. They're very different cultures, different languages, and this is what This like your questions kind of remind me of that. We from a side we sometimes we assimilate with this Soviet Union and people who I have some friends who were visiting Lithuania and they when they come to Vilnius, to the city where I live, they would say we didn't expect that. We thought we're going to see this post-Soviet gray, kind of. We have those buildings too, but when you enter the old town, it looks like any other European city. It's just all architecture, castle on the hill, it all these churches and all these beautiful old streets, and this is what sometimes I I realize that when people look from outside, they still see us as this post-Soviet kind of,
They really not only tore your country apart, but they kind of destroyed your culture almost effectively still today in the eyes of the West. It really is. I think it's going to be a long time before that.
It's a long time, and of course we are a very small country. We don't have these like resources, to spread the message. So we kind of working with each person personally, inviting like Jeff and other guys to see.
Hey, if you like these kind of conversations and you'd like to see more, click like and subscribe to our channel. And if you're at the computer and you'd like to hear the whole podcast, click right here.